He's going to take it himself for a championship.
A double play wins it to Frazier.
Turn it to the end zone. What a catch. McKay, it's on. Touchdown.
Into the layup goes at the buzzer.
Elijah wins it. The championship.
And once again, everybody, good evening and welcome to Dewey Health and Care Field as we get ready for this 4A title game. Let's have our ceremonial first pitch, and our Busey Bank Kid captain of the game is Keegan Van Assen from Brother Rice. Taking the field, Keegan. And Keegan Van Assen throwing out a good ball right there to the plate. Keegan Van Assen, our Busey Bank Kid captain of the game, building strong financial futures, one family, one street, one city at a time since 1868. Visit Busey.com to learn more. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Busey Bank, member FDIC. And welcome everyone to the championship game of the IHSA 2023 4A State Baseball Tournament. On the scoreboard, the visitors will be the Tigers of Edwardsville. And the Crusaders of Brother Rice will be the home team. Let us meet now the personnel involved in this game. First of all, the visiting Edwardsville Tigers. They enter this championship game with a record of 32-9. Here's the head coach of Edwardsville, Tim Funkhauser. Coach Funkhauser with a career record of 797 wins and 211 losses over 27 years. Let's now meet the starting lineup for Edwardsville. Leading off at second base, number 1, Cole Funkhauser. Batting second, the designated hitter, number 27, Joe Shiroto. Shiroto is hitting for the left fielder, number 4, Evan Moore. Batting third, the first baseman, number 22, Riley Ifrig. Batting cleanup, the right fielder, number 14, Caleb Copeland. Batting fifth, the pitcher, number 10, Andrew Hendrickson. Batting sixth, the catcher, number 30, Lucas Hubner. Batting seventh, the shortstop, number 11, Caden Jennings. Batting eighth, the third baseman, number 2, Lucas Krebs. And batting ninth, the center fielder, number 17, Grayson Rathgeb. And now the rest of the Edwardsville Tigers. And now let's meet the home team, the Brother Rice Crusaders. Entering this title game with 26 wins and 15 losses. Here's the coach of Brother Rice, Sean McBride. Coach McBride enters this game with 116 wins and 45 losses over 4 years. And now the starting lineup for Brother Rice. Leading off, the right fielder, number 19, Bryce Nevels. Batting second, the second baseman, number 13, Jackson Natanek. Batting third, the first baseman, number 23, Amir Gray. Batting cleanup, the catcher, number 21, Randall Naughton. Batting fifth, the shortstop, number 16, Gavin Schresenberg. Batting sixth, the left fielder, number 29, Chris Doherty. Batting seventh, the third baseman, number 9, Aiden Nohava. Batting eighth, the center fielder, number 14, Ryan Hartz. Batting ninth, the designated hitter, number 6, Sean Sullivan. And the starting pitcher, number 25, Danny Sheehan. And now the rest of the Brother Rice Crusaders. Your umpires for this championship game: behind the plate, Bill Orris. At first base, Chris Avila. And at third base, Jim Urbanek. And now, ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise and face the colors as Daniel Dolosky, a junior from Seneca, performs our national anthem.
It is time for 4A Championship Baseball, and it's coming your way from Dooley Health and Care Field in Joliet, Illinois. And tonight's battle will match the Brother Rice Crusaders and the Edwardsville Tigers. Hi again, everybody. Dave Bernard along with Hall of Fame coach Mark Lindo. Edwardsville, the defending Class 4A state champions, looking to go back-to-back. Brother Rice was here last year. Edwardsville eliminated them in the semis. When you take a look at their records, Edwardsville comes into tonight 32-9. Brother Rice 26-15. And Mark, typically for a state championship ball game, you don't see that many losses between these two teams.
Hey, good evening, Dave. Let's get after it here, and you're exactly right. I will tell you that both these teams have played as tough a schedules as you possibly can find, and the losses at this point, they just don't matter. Both these teams hotter than a firecracker down the stretch, have catapulted themselves into the title game here tonight. We should have a good one. I'm already excited.
Let's get it rolling with the Edwardsville starting lineup under head coach Tim Funkhauser. 802 career victories, 746 of those coming at Edwardsville. He'll lead it off with his son, Cole Funkhauser, followed by Joe Shiroto. He's doing the DHing tonight for left fielder Evan Moore. Riley Evrig is over at first, batting third. Caleb Copeland out of the cleanup spot. Andrew Hendrickson pitching and batting fifth. Lucas Hubner is behind the plate. Caden Jennings, 3-run homer yesterday in the semis. Shortstop bats seventh. Lucas Krebs at third, and Grayson Rathgeb is in center. For Brother Rice, the home team tonight, Chris Doherty, Ryan Hartz, Bryce Nevels, the outfield. For the Crusaders, Aiden Ohava along with Gavin Triesenberg on the left side. Jackson Natanik along with Amir Gray on the right. Randall Naughton is behind the plate. And Danny Sheehan, a sophomore, will be starting the state title game for the Brother Rice Crusaders.
He certainly will. Let's take a look at his numbers. He's 4-0 on the season. Only 22 innings pitched, so I doubt if he thought state championship game maybe a month ago, but here he is. A very solid 2.33 earned run average on the season. 11 punch-outs compared to 7 bases on balls, and he'll throw the first pitch in the state championship game to Randall Naughton, his fine catcher, and to call that first pitch in the rest of the final game of the Illinois High School Association sports calendar season. It's Edwardsville at the plate, Brother Rice on the field, and it's time to crown a state championship. To call that first pitch, the Hall of Fame voice, my partner, here he is, Dave Bernhard.
Thank you very much, Mark. We've been waiting for this one, and you can tell by the sound of it, the Brother Rice fans to our left behind the third base dugout, Edwardsville to the right, and it's the Edwardsville fans that will come to their feet first. First pitch single from Cole Funkhauser.
Cole Funkhauser took that ball right through the zone, laced it right back past Sheehan, and before he even left the box, Cole Funkhauser was clapping his hands in excitement. What a way to start the baseball game for a young man who's played for his father and had a great career for the Tigers.
Funkhauser, the senior, will give way now to Joe Shiroto. Shiroto stands in the box of the DH for Evan Moore. Yesterday, Edwardsville defeated York 7-3 to get to this title game. Brother Rice shut out New Trier 4-0. Shiroto last night pitched 5 1/3 innings. Gave up 5 hits and only 1 run. Sheehan's moved to first base to Amir Gray.
How about Cole Funkhauser? Played the state title championship last year. His brother Evan played there in 19. Now he's going again. There won't be enough fingers for the rings on the Funkhauser family.
Speak of the Funkhausers, for Dad, Tim Funkhauser already with 2 titles. You said both with their sons. Tim Funkhauser also played on a state championship team himself at Edwardsville High School. A ball and a strike to Shiroto. Lights were turned down just prior to this ball game.
Ryan Hart's in center field, very deep for Brother Rice. His job is to cut up any gap in right or left center field.
2 balls and a strike to Shiroto. Joe Shiroto, .333 batting average on the season. Pitch from Sheehan. Big cut from Shiroto. 83 degrees in Joliet at game time. Wind blowing ever so slightly out to center. In fact, that flag right now barely rippling in the breeze.
Shiroto, just a sophomore yesterday on the hill. Winning pitcher, improving his record to 6-2. The Alabama recruit today is called upon to do it with his bat rather than his arm.
Funkhauser, pretty good lead at first. Sheehan gets Shiroto.
Really big out for Sheehan, not because it's the a key time in the game because he gave up a base hit. Sophomore jitters rather gets a punch out right there, and now he gets to face lefty, but it's a tough matchup.
Riley Ifrig, 6'3", 215-pound senior, 377 average, 51 runs batted in, and a team high 8 home runs. Ifrig a hit and 2 at bats in the semifinal.
Still nursing a hamstring injury, which he took place in the regional, but he seems to be coming back. Told us that he's getting more and more therapy, some hydrotherapy, cryotherapy, stretching, and the Indiana State recruit looks ready to hit.
Pitching very carefully to the big lefty. Danny Sheehan had been bouncing back and forth, junior varsity. In fact, played a huge portion of the year on the junior varsity, hence the low number of innings pitched on the varsity level, but he's come on strong here in the postseason. Ifrig, monster swing. Don't know if he saw it, though. That head was spinning.
Yeah, he's trying to turn out all right here. We'll see if he makes an adjustment with 1 strike, but 2-0. He was sitting dead red, turned on it, and just missed it.
327 down the right field line, 348, pretty good poke down the left field line, 400 to straight center here at Dooley Health and Care Field. Short lead for Funkhauser. Ifrig, look, that's strike 2.
He beat him hard on the 2-0 fastball. Ifrig couldn't get his hands above the ball, and then he went low with a breaking ball, lefty against lefty. What's the next choice?
Outfield very deep for Ifrig. It's about the deepest we've seen an outfield play all weekend long. Sheehan misses. The count goes 3-2.
Going to run Funkhauser right here. If you have a belief that Ifrig's going to move the baseball, you put your runner in motion right now. Try to get the defense in motion as well to create some holes.
Let's see if Sheehan goes to first. See if he can get Funkhauser leaning. There goes Funkhauser. Ball 4, runners first and second.
Chose to go with a breaking ball. He missed down and away. And Edwardsville with a couple runners on early. The table is set for the big boppers coming up.
Number 14, Caleb Copeland, 5'9" senior, 400 batting average, 40 runs batted in with 10 doubles.
Yeah, repeat that one, 40 runs batted in, because that's what his job is now. Drive the ball through the infield and pick up this first run of the game.
Copeland with the double yesterday drove in a run. Edwardsville yesterday, a semifinal against York, jumped all over the Dukes, scoring 5 in the first inning en route to the 7-3 win. Our home plate umpire tonight is Bill Orris. Chris Avila at first base. Jim Urbanek is at third.
Talking about the best in the business in the state of Illinois, calling this 4A state championship game. Bill Orris, one of the best umpires and officials in the entire state of Illinois. Been doing it for 3 or 4 decades.
He'll call that one a strike in the outside corner. Tonight it is the 20th anniversary of the first state final that Bill Orris umpired. This is his 4th appearance, and he has his credentials from this year and from 20 years ago hanging off his belt.
What a fine gentleman he is visiting with us today.
Hard foul ball into the netting right behind the Brother Rice dugout. There is all types of orange here tonight.
Yeah, we asked Bill Orris today, do you still get some jitters as an umpire? And he said, absolutely so. If I didn't, it wouldn't be a good thing. It's a good thing that he's excited about being here like you and I are as well.
0-2 pitch. Copeland slicing and foul. Didn't miss by much in that Brother Rice dugout on that third base side. All leaned over the rail to see where that ball would land.
Copeland, a 3-year starter, been here, done that. He also, of course, was a member of last year's state championship team, and he also had his brother Joe, who was a member of the 19 team. So a lot of families with a lot of history in Edwardsville baseball.
Funkhauser is at second, Ifrig at first. Not holding Ifrig on. And that will load the bases. Copeland hit by a pitch. It came with 2 strikes. And that will bring up Andrew Hendrickson. Hendrickson, the pitcher.
Andrew Hendrickson.
He hits in the 5th spot in the order. 6'2" senior with a .293 average, 32 runs batted in.
Infield playing back. They'll concede 1 to stay out of a big inning.
They will give up 1. Hendrickson will drive home Funkhauser with the ground out. So just as they did yesterday, Edwardsville jumps on top in the 1st inning.
Solid decision by Sean McBride, playing back, saying, okay, we're going to take more than 1 to beat us anyway. Let's stay out of a big inning, especially after Edwardsville put 5 up in the 1st inning yesterday.
Still 2 runners in scoring position for Lucas Hubner. Hubner hitting at a .327 clip this year with 30 runs batted in. And he's going to get 2 more ribbies right here. Ifrit crosses the plate. Here comes Copeland. It's 3-0, Edwardsville.
Hubner got a fastball up right at waist high and turned it right around against the sophomore, Danny Sheehan, who had no time to react at all to that ball. Whistling by his head into center field. Reinhardt's no chance. Threw that ball back into second base. Look at that dugout for Edwardsville, jumping up and down and all around.
They absolutely exploded off that hit from Hubner. Courtesy runner down at first base for the catcher, Lucas Hubner. At the plate now, it's Caden Jennings. Jennings, a bunt down the 3rd baseline. A spins foul.
Good idea. Try to move the line. When you have some momentum, sometimes you'll get a bunt down and have a big play happen out of a bunt.
Jennings yesterday, the big blow in the 1st inning. All 5 runs, by the way, for Edwardsville yesterday came with 2 outs, but it was the 2-out, 3-run homer by Caden Jennings that pushed the lead to 5-0.
Montrez West, will he run in this situation on the first move?
He does not. Jennings pulls it back. 3rd baseman Aiden O'Hava playing very deep. Taken for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jennings.
West can get a good lead. If he goes on the leg, he might be able to outrun the throw that would come to second base.
He's running. The pitch fouled back. He'll come back.
Had that base stolen easily if it weren't for the foul ball that took place. Really good jump.
Tim Funkhauser down at 3rd base box, flashes the signs over to West. The sign to Jennings is hit. Montrez West stays. This one's fouled away. Danny Sheen has given up a couple of hits. Hit a batter, walked a man. Sophomore, a 1-2 count on Jennings. Bounces in, wild pitch will send West to second. Edwardsville capable of putting so much pressure on their opponents.
They can create things in a myriad of ways, but it's been with the bat. They've hit 3 rockets here early on. There's going to be early activity in the Brother Rice bullpen. No holding back here at all in the championship game.
Sending Ty Callahan down to the pen. Jennings a tough at bat.
The more pitches he sees, the more he's got a chance to gauge the arm slot of the sophomore pitcher Sheehan and the timing. The more pitches, the more the advantage goes from pitcher to hitter.
West going to be able to get a good lead at second base. They are not holding him on. Jennings goes through it. Big strikeout for Sheehan. And that will close the first inning. 3 runs, 2 hits, a walk, a hit batter. RBI from Hendrickson, 2 from Lucas Hubner. It's a 3-0 lead for Edwardsville as Brother Rice will come to bat in the bottom of the first.
This NFHS Network Championship event is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Brother Rice under head coach Sean McBride in his 4th season, 116 wins, 26 of those coming this season. Here's the offensive order for the Crusaders. Bryce Nevels will lead it off. It'll be Jackson Natanic. Amir Gray, first baseman, will bat third. Randall Naughton in the cleanup spot. Kevin Triesenberg at short. Chris Doherty, Aiden Nahava, Ryan Hartz, and Sean Sullivan DHing for Danny Sheehan. Defensively for the Tigers from Edwardsville, the outfield of Evan Moore, Grayson Rathgeb, and Caleb Copeland. Lucas Krebs is at third, Caden Jennings at short. Cole Funkhauser, the second baseman, Riley Ifrig next to him at first. Lucas Hubner behind the plate. Andrew Hendrickson, we saw him for all of 4 pitches yesterday. Came in late, got a 4-pitch strikeout. He's on the mound for EHS.
The senior gets the ball, and he would have liked nothing else to get the ball for the final game of the season and for the big trophy. The 6'2", 195-pound senior has a 5-1 record on the year. 34 innings pitched, earned run average of 2.47 in those 34 innings, 35 punch-outs, so 1 inning there, and a relatively high 18 base on balls. If he doesn't beat himself, if he makes Brother Rice beat him, he'll be in good shape. You got to attack the zone. If you're the young man Hendrickson who's going to Lincoln Land Junior College, and to lead things off, here's Bryce Nevels.
Nevels, big numbers on the season. 41 runs scored, 35 runs batted in, 352 batting average, 12 doubles, 6 home runs. That leads his team in each one of those categories. Yesterday, though, Nevels was quiet, 0 for 4.
So Hendrickson closed the super sectional, got the save. Closed yesterday's ball game, the one batter. Today he starts it, and he gets to carry the load.
Big righty to Nevels. This one will take a while to come down. Ifrig in foul territory. And that may have ended up in fair territory. 1 out.
Batting second for Brother Rice, the second baseman, number 13, Jackson Natanic.
Jansen Natanic was 2 for 4 yesterday, 9 hits for Brother Rice overall. Scored a run. Natanic, the second baseman for the Crusaders.
Handles the bat really well, 340 hitter on the season, so he's got it done. Big shutdown inning right away for Henderson. His team puts him ahead 3-0 after a 5-0 lead yesterday. Tigers ahead early and often, the 2 games here in Joliet.
Hendrickson, good fastball right there in the inside part of the plate. Playing Natanic pretty much straight away. A tag applied by Hubner. That will finish off the strikeout of Natanic.
Natanic got way ahead on his front foot. A straight change right there. Employed by Hendrickson. A very good located pitch kept that ball down.
Amir Gray, first baseman, headed to Purdue. He had a hit and one official at bat yesterday.
One of the writers after the Super Session asked Hendrickson about finishing. He says, I love to be in the moment. Well, he certainly is right now.
Picks up 2 quick outs. He challenges Gray. Amir Gray, 6 foot, 200-pound senior.
Cole Funkhauser at second base. He just moved in a step or two, but he was a good 5 feet in the outfield, the green, where the brown and green meet, giving himself some angles to play with against Amir Gray, who expects to hit the ball hard.
Shades Gray a little bit up the middle. Called strike on Amir Gray. Count even up at 2-2 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first.
Hendrickson right now using the whole plate at 17 inches wide. A good pitcher elongates that maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches on either side for hitters' eyes.
Gray with some flying insects. We'll call time. He gets it, steps back in. Here we go. Hendrickson delivers. Count goes full to Gray.
Hendrickson dropped down a little bit on that one, a little crossfire. Gray tracking the baseball. He is as good as strongest hitter as you will find.
Once he gets his sign, Hendrickson brings that glove right up to his chin. Gray will head down to first base with a 2-out walk. I'll bring up Randall Nauden. Nauden, outstanding running back for the Crusaders this past fall. 6 foot, 210-pound junior. He does the catching in the baseball season. Nauden offers from Navy and Campbell for his football abilities.
Slider right there, had really good and late bite. Started that ball right on the hands of Nauden. Finished right on the inner corner, and Bill Orris with the right arm.
Short lead by Gray. Lucas Hubner with that slide to the right side. You maybe recognize several names from last year's state finals. Remember the name of Hubner?
Yes.
Well, it was Grant Hubner that was catching for Edwardsville. Lucas was behind him. Though they're spelled the same way, though they sound the same way, Grant Hubner, Lucas Hubner, no relation.
Same team, same town, no relative. But they both can play the game.
And this year it will be Lucas Hubner looking to pick up yet another ring. A little bit too long there for Nauden. These teams met last year in the semifinals. Edwardsville knocked off Brother Rice 7-4 in order to get their way into the championship ball game. Two-one pitch. Right there.
Yeah, we left Joliet last year with Brother Rice losing that semifinal and playing in the third place game. No one thought they'd be back here right now. They only had 2 or 3 players back on their entire roster, but they have perpetuated the program.
Nauden hits this one well, giving ground is Copeland in right field. He leaps and he makes a diving catch in deep right center. Caleb Copeland, unbelievable grab.
What an incredible run-saving, triple-saving catch it was. That is as good as we've seen, and we've seen a couple web gems this weekend. Not on a bigger stage as yet. Young man is being mobbed by his teammates for that effort. Cue it up. That is a big-time play and a big-time stage.
What a first inning for the defending state champs. Copeland finishes it with a diving catch. 3 runs in the top, and that's the lead for the Tigers as we go to the second.
High school sports fans, relive your favorite moments. Just click the shopping cart below the video player to get your digital copy today.
Edwardsville, Caleb Copeland basically learned to play the outfield last year. He has excelled in the outfield this year.
Saved a run and stopped the inning right there for this Edwardsville team, who's looking for back-to-back titles after trailing early on in the tournament. They were trailing Quincy 3-0. They were trailing big time against O'Fallon the 4th inning. Almost didn't get here. Now they want to finish the deal.
In fact, you add to that, Ed, you come from behind against Collinsville to walk it off. Those 3 games you mentioned were the first 3 games, regional, semi-regional championship, and the sectional semi. This ball's hit well by Lucas Krebs, but cruising over, Bryce Nevels with a catch.
Sometimes you're destined to do well, and when you have a program like both these schools, but talk about Edwardsville right now, you just know how to win. And I'll tell you something else that happens. When you have this kind of tradition, sometimes teams, they don't know if they can beat you. It goes both ways. You know you can win, but other teams don't know if they can finish you off.
At the plate is Grayson Rathgeb, center fielder for the Tigers. Kind of flashed a bunt there, pulled it back for a ball. Well, the way Edwardsville came out in the first inning, they sent a message. This ball is lined to center, misjudged momentarily. The catch is made by Ryan Hartz. Well, how about that? 2 of the last 3 batters retired on diving catches. Hartz straight in on that one.
Yeah, he read that right off the sound of the bat, reacted and laid out for that. Oh my, that's a nice catch as well. Maybe not with a runner on base, that's why it wasn't quite as exciting. And you know what, if he doesn't come up with that ball, if it skips past him, it's all the way to the 400 mark.
Cole Funkhauser has seen 2 pitches tonight. He singled on the first one. He'll fly out on the second one, and that is a very quick top half of the second inning. Brother Rice coming to the plate, trailing 3-0.
Hey, thank you for joining.
High school sports fans, relive your favorite moments. Just click the shopping cart below the video player to get your digital copy today.
May show just a 0 on the board there in the top of the second inning, but with how quickly that inning ended, you throw in a diving catch from your center fielder, Ryan Hartz. That was a huge, huge inning for Brother Rice.
Yeah, because Edwardsville had certainly gained big-time momentum. The top of the inning, putting 3 up, then that great catch in the bottom of the inning by the fine center fielder for Edwardsville, and then the great catch in center field quick inning right there for Brother Rice, exactly what they needed.
It'll be 5, 6, 7 for the Crusaders. Gavin Triesenberg, Chris Doherty, and Aiden Nahava. I'll be facing Andrew Hendrickson.
Caleb Copeland in right field with that awesome catch, and you got to wonder right now, he wants the ball anywhere in his area, Cokes. He thinks right now that any ball in the outfield is his. But Grayson Rathke up there, fine center fielder, will have some things to say about that.
Sky filled with clouds, so no problem with any sun. This would be in the normal time when the sun would really create problems for right field second base area. Gavin Triesenberg looking to start it, and he's going to go after the first pitch off his fist and out of play. Triesenberg 2 for 3 last night, drove in a run.
Triesenberg, a slick fielding shortstop. Good build, good stature. He will be a high-level recruit before his career is over and done.
Breaking ball for strike 2. It was a 4-0 win for Brother Rice last night. Cole Van Assen, the starting pitcher, he went the distance. Absolutely outstanding for the Crusaders. A swing and a miss. Triesenberg will go down. Second strikeout for Hendrickson.
Hendrickson averages 1 inning, and he's feeling it right now.
Very similar to the performance of Van Assen last night, who in his 7 innings only allowed 2 hits, struck out 9. We'll bring up Chris Doherty. Doherty, the left fielder for Rice. Lots of orange here in Joliet. Orange and black for Edwardsville. Maroon and burnt orange for Brother Rice.
We talked about Edwardsville's comeback regional championship. Brother Rice had to come behind their trail Mount Carmel before they got a walk-off themselves. So very few times you see a wide open, easy path for any team to the championship game. Hit the ball.
3 balls, no strikes to Doherty. Aiden Nahava on deck. Brother Rice out of the city of Chicago. Edwardsville, of course, down in the southwestern part of the state. 4-pitch walk to Doherty. Second walk of the game for Hendrickson.
Next batter for Brother Rice, the third baseman, number 9, Aiden Nahava.
Nahava hitless in a couple of at-bats last night. That's 5 straight balls.
Flying open just a little bit right now. I think Henderson got to stay back on his backside over the slab, over the rubber, just a little bit longer to create a balance point before his delivery.
Decent sized lead for Doherty at first.
Jennings at short, Funkhauser at second, really bunched in the middle. Both of them with a mindset, give me a ground ball. We'll turn it over. 6-4-3 or 4-6-3, they don't care.
Right fielder Copeland playing shallow for Nahava. In fact, the entire outfield in fairly tight. Nahava, just 3 extra base hits this season.
Henderson wants to keep this ball down to try to create that ground ball situation.
Start to work back from a 2-1 count. Frick holding Doherty on at first. Hava wants to gather himself. Hava right on top of the plate. Got a piece of it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Down the right field line, fair ball. This will get into the corner. Doherty being waved around third. Nohava hits the bag at second. He's headed to third. The throw. Nohava is out. The run scores. It's 3-1.
Go through that play again. Nohava hit an absolute rocket down the right field line. Brother Rice gets their first run up on the board. But the bad news is Sean McBride had the stop sign up, and the finally executed throw and relay throw nailed Nohava at third base.
Excellent work on the relay from deep in the right field corner. Nobody on with 2 outs to Ryan Hartz. He's going to scoop this one right into the glove of Riley Ifrig. With the Crusaders strike, they get a run. A walk followed by a double. It's 3-1 as we go to the third in your 4A championship game.
Conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
Shh, we're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorites.
My kid heard that solo!
You see what I did?
You're watching live coverage of the IHSA Baseball Championships on the NFHS Network. NFHSNetwork.com/IHSA is your destination for the most comprehensive coverage of Illinois high school playoff action. We begin the third, 1-pitch base hit. Joe Sciarotto.
I'll tell you what, leadoff batter each inning, first ball, fastball, hunting against the sophomore Danny Sheehan that's been struck hard all 3 times. 2 of them base hit by Funkhauser lead off, a hard hit ball by Krebs, and then a leadoff hard hit ball by Sciarotto.
Riley Ifrig at the plate. He walked. He scored in the first. Smith down and away. Ifrig going to be followed by Copeland. Yesterday, Edwardsville scoring those 5 runs the first inning, and then they went quiet for a while. They'll look to build on it here. Once again, very deep for Ifrig. That bat just twirling near his left ear. Three-year starter, Ifrig 3 for 3 in the super sectional. Hitting 2 at-bats yesterday for Ifrig. Little check swing. The backhand from Gray makes the right play, gets over to first base. That removes the runner to second. Sciarotto there.
So you got a runner in scoring position for the big bopping Caleb Copeland.
For Edwardsville, right fielder number 14, Caleb Copeland.
Copeland's driven in 40 runs this season. So he picked up his 41st RBI last night. Hit by a pitch and scored in first. Sciarotto at second with 1 out. Copeland will be followed by Hendrickson.
Sheehan they've moved the ball against him. They have 3 runs on the board, but he does not look frustrated or flustered at all. looks very poised. And you put that on top of being a sophomore, you put that on top of being a state championship. Very mature young man.
Pitching carefully to Copeland. Crusaders do have pitcher warming up in their bullpen down the left field line. Don't know that Sean McBride would wait too long here, especially after his team got a run back at the bottom of the second. This time he gets after Copeland. 2 balls and 1 strike. Hits that outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Ty Callahan is the big right-hander down the pen. He's going to stay ready all night long until he is ultimately finally used.
We'll look to second. Pitch to Copeland. And we're full. O'Have at third, Triesenberg at short, Botanic at second, and Gray at first. Copeland right through it. Big strikeout on the sophomore Danny Sheehan.
Really big pitch on 3 and 2. And some people might say, why did Sean McBride start the sophomore? Well, this is a situation. Ifrig, one of the big boppers, left-handed. Copeland, one of the big boppers, left-handed. Hendrickson, one of the big boppers, left-handed. So he's trying to negate the middle 3 in that order with a left-handed pitcher.
Curveball starts out Hendrickson. Andrew Hendrickson drove in a run on an infield ground out. And that set up Lucas Hubner's 2-run single. Those are the 3 runs in the first inning. Out to second once again. Natanic up with it. And Sheehan gets out of it. After a leadoff single, ground out, strikeout, ground out. We played 2.5. Brother Rice down by a pair.
Academy Sports and Outdoors has something for everyone in your family. From top sports brands to backyard cooking or the best in the outdoors. The North Face, Yeti, Columbia, or Magellan Outdoors, Academy has it all. Whether you're celebrating familiar traditions or exploring new ones, we've got what you need in here to have fun out there. Start your next adventure and make lifelong family memories at Academy Sports and Outdoors. Download our app or shop at academy.com.
Today's game is available for download. Click the digital copy button under the event video player to download a digital copy of the event right to your computer. Dave Bernhardt, Mark Lindo with you. Bill Rush alongside. Producing this one, Stephen Lawler, the executive producer of NFHS State Championships for Illinois. Brother Rice seems to have weathered the momentum that took place in the first inning.
Yeah, once they scored next, meaning they were trailed by 3, and then cut it to a 3-1 deficit, settled down, and Sheehan had those 3 left-handers in a row, and he handled all 3 of them. Big-time inning, shutdown inning for him.
9-1-2 here in the bottom of the third. Sean Sullivan, the DH, batting for the pitcher Danny Sheehan. Before we get back to the top, and Nevels and Natanic.
Really a bonus for the Crusaders if they can get a leadoff on base any which way from Sullivan with Nevels and Natanic, Gray, nodding, all those guys looming. If they get that leadoff man on base here, they are in business.
25, 26 and 15 for Brother Rice this year. Crusaders started out 3-6. Youth movement trying to get adjusted. In fact, stretch at the end of the year where Brother Rice was 6-6. So they've had their growing pains. But boy, have they grown up in the playoffs. You know, we were talking to Amir Gray, one of the 3 seniors on the team, the other night, and Amir just flat out says, okay, we were here last year, but this is way better than last year because nobody expected Brother Rice to be playing here in the final game of the season.
And the verbal emotional leader he is, he's very proud of that. He's one of the captains.
Rip fair down the left field line. Sullivan hits the bag at first. He's motoring to second. The throw, not in time. Leadoff double, Sean Sullivan.
What a start it is. You get a bullet from your 9-hole hitter to set the table. We mentioned what a positive bonus that would be. Got a little bit of pressure on the corners right now. I don't think you'll see a bump, but you at least have to respect it on the corners, so you'll have to come in. And Brother Rice in business right now.
Back to the top of the order, Bryce Nevels. He is ready to break loose. Hopped up to the first base in his first time up. Nevels, amazing athlete according to his coach, Sean McBride. Hands high over his helmet. Count evens at a ball and a strike.
Slider or curveball right in between on that one, but a good break no matter what. Late break for that strike. Changing speeds, mixing pitches.
Nevels a little bit late off the end of the bat into the screen. He was looking to go right side, so maybe a little incorrect with a little late. He was looking to maybe move that runner along with authority. Gets a hold of this one. Drives Rathgeb back. Rathgeb back. Makes the catch. Tagging at second is Sullivan. He will advance to third.
Well, let's pick that one apart. A, first play. Really solid job by Nevels getting hands above that ball and driving it. Part B, Grayson Rathgeb kept drifting, and got to the ball. Good job. And point C, really good base running by Sean Sullivan, tagging and getting to third. So good, solid, fundamental baseball, all 3 aspects.
Jason Natanek struck out against Hendrickson in the first inning. Corners are in, middle is back for the Tigers. Hubner, leave his feet for that one. How big would it be for Brother Rice to plate a run here?
Huge. Momentum grabber.
Hendrickson a long time this set. The pitch. Squirts away just ever so slightly from Hubner. Over at third base, Sullivan had no chance. That's a tough one too. Had that ball gotten farther away, you have a bad angle to see how far the ball does get away from the catcher.
Yeah, chasing 2, good read unless you know you're scoring.
Students behind the Brother Rice dugout, hands over their head, clapping. Natanek fists it over the head of Caden Jennings. Base hit, Jackson Natanek. It's a 3-2 game.
Jackson Natanek just muscled that ball. That's right, he muscled that ball just over the outstretched glove of Caden Jennings. Jennings thought he had it off the bat. The ball carried on him just a little bit, and he mistimed his leap for the base hit in the RBI.
Leadoff double by Sean Sullivan scores. The RBI single by Natanek. Amir Gray at the plate. Follows this one right up here, rattling around the second level of Dooley Health and Care Field. This is the home of the Joliet Slammers, independent league professional team.
Purdue recruit, his approach to hitting, see ball, hit ball. Pretty simple game. Especially when you have the athletic ability, the hands, and the eyes that he has hitting a baseball.
Titanic, average size lead at first. Gray hits this ball hard right to the right fielder, Copeland. That ball was squared up.
Frozen rope. Copeland barely needed to move on that laser beam with incredible exit velocity. Wonder what the expected batting average on a ball hit that hard would be. Very, very high.
Randall Naughton, remember the last time he came to the plate? Drilled one to right center field, and Copeland laid out for a diving catch to close out the first inning. Glance over the shoulder to first, and too much time as Randall Naughton asked for time. Bill Orris, home plate umpire, granted it to him, no pitch.
Rathke deep in center and Copeland even deeper in right, and justifiably so. A ball in the gap would score the tying run.
Well, slide step from Hendrickson. Trim the whiskers there of Randall Naughton.
Hendrickson 1.15 to home plate on that delivery. That's pretty good. That would give their fine catcher, Lucas Hubner, a legitimate chance at gunning down the would-be base stealer, that being Jackson Titanic.
Hendrickson challenged Naughton. Bat speed from Naughton.
2-1, a good pitch to run on. Wouldn't be surprised if you see Hendrickson knock him down here with a pickoff over to first base.
Titanic stays. 3 balls and a strike. Naughton also right on top of that plate. The 2-out walk will put the tying run in scoring position. Titanic heads to second. Naughton the walk. He will go to first. We'll very quickly get a courtesy runner for him.
3 walks allowed by Hendrickson now in 2 2/3 innings. Said he had a relatively high 18 base on balls in 34 innings. So that's been his only issue on the hill this year, is command of the strike zone on a totally consistent basis.
Connor Stack, the courtesy runner at first base.
Mike Sabatino, pitching coach, out has a calming word and a positive word when he leaves the mound for his pitcher.
The shortstop, number 16, Gavin Triesenberg.
Gavin Triesenberg struck out against Hendrickson his first time up. Triesenberg has driven in 28 runs this year. Triesenberg, part of this young club, the sophomore. 6'3", shortstop.
Works with a wide open stance, high hands on the backside.
Hendrickson struggling a little bit to find the zone.
So Sean McBride's going to let him hit if it's a fastball down the middle, what I call the 5 spot, right at the waist in the middle of the plate.
It was right there.
There it was.
The 5 spot.
He launched it He loaded up the backside, just couldn't get the barrel on top, just underneath it.
Hits are even at 3. Botanic at second. Stack is at first. Well, the Rice fans didn't like that call. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Triesenberg sticks his bat out. It will hang up long enough for Copeland. But a big run in the inning. A leadoff double by Sullivan, the RBI single, Natanic. We have a 1-run game as we head to the 4th.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah!
Be great.
Participate!
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends. How to fit in. How to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 12 million participants in America who take part in high school sports or activities.
Today's game is also available for all subscribers via the NFHS Network Live mobile app for Apple and Android devices. Download the app from the Apple App Store or Google Play Store today. Start watching live games wherever you are. And we have a new pitcher for Brother Rice here to start the 4th inning.
Ty Callahan, a 5'11", 200-pound sophomore. That's right, a sophomore put in this situation. 3-4 record on the season. 34 strikeouts, 18 base on balls. You take a look at things. Good game plan by Sean McBride and his staff. They let Sheehan get the 3 lefties out, and then they go with the right-hander who's been ready.
Giving chase by the dugout, and it lands just beyond that first base dugout. The plate is Lucas Hubner. He singled in a pair of runs, and that's our difference in the game. A 3-run first inning.
So even though Callahan gave up 3 runs, he actually did what they would have wanted the young sophomore to do. That's keep them in the game, shorten the game to a 4-inning.
Callahan blows away Hubner. Brings up Caden Jennings. He was a strikeout victim of Sheehan in the first inning. Jennings has thought about a bunt a couple of times, couldn't get that one down.
How about the entire Brother Rice Crusader dugout in unison, doing their job? Bunt. They all yelled it at once when they saw the barrel come across home plate.
Right in the helmet of Jennings. They will confirm that he's okay. Trainer out as Jennings heads down to first base. Jennings will take that walk down the right field line.
It's a little bit of a verbal test, quite honestly. Saying, you know where you're at? Do you know what time it is? All of these above, making sure that everything is all right, that he can stay in the game.
Get a little running in. Trainer for Edwardsville is Katie Hamilton. Not only does she do a great job from the training room, she also has provided an avocado to the team. What? An avocado?
Yeah, any big play, the avocado comes out. And that's their celebratory gimmick, I guess, for a better word. When the avocado comes out, you know something good is happening.
Well, it came out yesterday when Caden Jennings hit a 3-run homer. He got the avocado.
First came out with Caleb Copeland bomb before that. That's how it became to fruition.
That's thrown away. It's going to go in the bullpen. This will allow Jennings to motor all the way to third. Here's the throw. It's a good one. But Jennings is there with 1 out.
E1 on the errant pickoff attempt. A lot of space here. Julie Health and Care Field, and you and I have been here enough. We know if it's past the first baseman, it's not the second base for the base runner. It's all the way to third.
1 out. The middle infielders are back. Corners come in with Krebs at the plate.
Ty Callahan, he's thrown the express up there consistently. He's got some giddy up on the fastball.
5'11", 200-pounder. Ripped, base hit. Jennings to score. It's 4-2 Edwardsville. Lucas Krebs the RBI.
Well, put in position by Jennings, hit by pitch, and error moves him to scoring position, and Krebs turns on that express, turned it right around, hits it over the shortstop's head into left field, and Edwardsville extends the lead.
Grayson Rathke is going to put it down. Callahan, the backhand, turns the other way. Gray, the catch, the tag. He absorbs the blow for the out.
That was a premier play by Gray, who had to come off the base, track the baseball at the same time Rathke was coming down the line. He was able to do so at the same time, make a sweeping tag. Really good play by the first baseman.
Mentioned that the last half inning, it was so important for Brother Rice to get that 1 run. Equally as important for Edwardsville to come right back with 1 here in the top of the 4th. Funkhauser at the plate. Singleton scored in the first. Flew out to center his last time up. And how big is that throwing error that allowed Jennings to go first to third?
Absolutely huge. And this is a huge run on second base. Funkhauser at the plate would like to pick up 1 more.
To Ryan Hartz in center. And Edwardsville picks up a run. Jennings hit by a pitch, goes to third on a throwing error. Then Lucas Krebs brings him home. And we are halfway home in your 4A title ball game. The defending state champs, the Edwardsville Tigers, on top of Brother Rice, 4-2. High school sports fans, never miss another game. Become a subscriber to the NFHS Network to watch live game coverage, game replays, and highlights from high school sporting events from across the country. Millions of athletes, thousands of games, one destination, NFHSnetwork.com. We are high school. Well, we've had plenty of action here already today. We got started this morning at 9 o'clock, third place game in 3A. That one went 9 innings before Sycamore scored on a walk-off wild pitch, 2-1 over Effingham. Your 3A champions, back-to-back, the Nazareth Academy Roadrunners, knocking off Grays Lake Central 7-2. Our 4A third place game also went extra innings. New Trier, though, in the 8th inning, opened it up, a 9-4 win over York. Brother Rice right back at it. They'll be 6, 7, and 8 in the order. Chris Doherty to start things off, looking to match or exceed that run in the top half of this 4th inning. Andrew Hendrickson on the mound delivers strike one. That's the goal right now. Pound that strike zone.
That is his ultimate goal. Make them beat you with the bat, not with any kind of free pass.
Doherty walked and scored the first run of the game. That came in the 2nd inning, first run of the game for Brother Rice.
And notice what you said, walked and scored. Said that quite a bit this weekend, too many free passes.
Well, here's how the runs have scored in this particular ball game. Doherty, this is slicing. He'll be in foul territory. Don't know that anybody can get it, and they will not. Okay, so for Edwardsville, a run scored on a walk, and I mean that's what the hitter did. He eventually scored. This is in the 1st inning. Hit batter, scored. In the 4th inning, hit batter, scored. That's 3 of their 4 runs. On the other side, walk, scored for Brother Rice.
So 4 of the 6 runs were put on base in a give-me situation. And yes, sometimes you need to earn a walk with plate discipline, but if a pitcher pounds the zone, that makes you put the ball in play and be more aggressive.
Hendrickson, the deliberate pattern, takes a sign to his waist, raises his glove, ground ball right at Funkhauser, gobbles it up, over to Ifrig, 1 gone.
First out, oh, so important. Hendrickson pounds the zone like we just talked about. Funkhauser incredibly poised and receptive with his hands, an easy 4-3 put out.
You know, you take a look at all the Funkhausers, including Dad, how many state finals they have been at.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Because Tim Funkhauser was around as a bat boy for years.
7 years bat boy.
Before he even got to high school. It's an interesting story in terms of how Tim Funkhauser made his coaching way to Southern Illinois.
Yeah, he was a student at Western Illinois, and he was supposed to student teach in Richton Park at Rich Central or South. I'm not sure which one. Because of distance and housing, he asked if he could be moved. Went to Troy Triad, did a good job there, becomes the head baseball coach, which wouldn't have happened if he was in the south suburbs. Then Edwardsville opens up after Tim's start as a head coach experience at Troy Triad. And the rest, once he came to Edwardsville, is indeed Edwardsville baseball lore.
802 career wins. The 800th coming in a sectional championship. The 700th victory in Funkhauser's career came in the 2019 state championship game.
Edwardsville, long tradition with the Funkhausers, as you mentioned, and Tom Pyle before that.
1-1 pitch. Well, in game number 1, we saw Mike Napoleon, the head coach from New Trier, pick up his 967th career win. That is the all-time record in Illinois. Well, Tim Funkhauser is 3rd among active coaches behind Napoleon and Jay Thompson from Harrisburg. 10th all-time in career baseball victories.
A lot of W's, a lot of, even more important, a lot of lives impacted in those communities.
Aiden Nohava doubled in a run in the 2nd inning. Brother Rice has hit the board each of the last 2 innings. There's called strike 3 right there in the inside corner.
That's his best paint as he just nailed the inner edge. Bill Orris, the fine umpire he is, puts the right hand up and out. 2 down on the big board.
3rd strikeout of the night for Andrew Hendrickson. He'll face Ryan Hartz. Here, Huebner's glove pop. Hart's glance to third, and Sean McBride. Not a whole lot of signs to be given right here. Just missed outside.
And watch Henderson, he wants to get it and throw it. But Hart's is stepping out on each and every pitch, much to the chagrin and dismayment of Hendrickson.
Yeah, so Hendrickson took a little walk behind the mound, gathered himself. Just a peer in for that sign. The lights do have an effect here, yet we are in dusk. Good rip from Hart's. Ball and 2 strikes. Hendrickson looking to put away Hart's right here. Nearly did. In fact, 8 players from Edwardsville all took about 3 steps toward the first base dugout. Two, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. This is lifted high and foul. Out of play. Scramble for the foul ball along the berm down the left field line.
Rugby scrum, no less than 8 or 9 players, or would-be players fighting for that ball on the berm.
Hendrickson delivers. There it is. He rings him up. Back-to-back called 3rd strikes. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Andrew Hendrickson. 4th strikeout of the night. Edwardsville will go to the 5th inning, leading by a deuce.
High school sports fans, relive your favorite moments. Just click the shopping cart below the video player to get your digital copy today.
At Edwardsville championship game history. State champs in 1990, finished 2nd in 91, won it again in 1998, a 2nd place finish under Tim Funkhauser in 2002. In 17, a 2nd place finish, and titles in 19 and 22. Beyond that, the Tigers have been regulars here in the state baseball finals.
You need extra pages to go through their state history.
Yeah, and truly, there is not enough room in the program pages to fit the entire tournament history for Edwardsville.
They each and every year think they're going to be there, meaning the state finals.
But yet, as you mentioned earlier, first 3 games of this entire playoff run, Edwardsville had to come from behind to win. Joe Shiroto to lead things off in the top of the 5th inning as Edwardsville looks to build on this 2-run lead. 3 runs for the Tigers in the first. They picked up another one last inning. Brother Rice had single runs in the 2nd and 3rd.
Callahan just blew away Shiroto on that last pitch with high, hard heat.
That one gets away from him. No damage done. Nobody on base. 2-2. There are no bullpen benches here at this field, so a couple of Brother Rice players just kind of sitting on the fence down the bullpen, ready if they're needed. It's 2, 3, and 4 in the order for the Tigers. Callahan doesn't try to mess around.
No, he's coming right at him. And Schirotto, even though he's seen more pitches now, that's the sixth pitch he's seen, still tardy against that live fastball.
Breaking ball on that pitch. Well, you can see with the way Callahan throws, he really hides that ball till the very last instant, then it just appears popping off his right shoulder.
Yeah, he's going to go fastball here, so it's challenge time because Schirotto knows it and we know it.
3-2. Schirotto wins the battle. He will send it all the way to the wall. Joe Schirotto on the move. Big turnaround second. And he has the leadoff double in the fifth.
That is the advantage of two things. One, the fact that right now Callahan, we've been singing his praises. He's getting it up there, no doubt about it, but he has not had command of the second pitch. When the count went to 3-2 and Schirotto leading off in that inning, he was sitting dead red for the fastball. He got it, turned on it, and turns it into a double.
He's followed in the order by Ifrig. Strike called. Ifrig a walk and a ground out to first. To send this to left. Doherty is right there. One out.
And a big one because Ifrig is an RBI machine. 51 on the year, so a big first out there.
To the cleanup hitter, Caleb Copeland. Copeland hit by a pitch and a strikeout. Callahan, the second of two pitchers. Danny Sheehan got the start tonight. The sophomore gave up 3 runs in the first. First inning's been a kind inning to Edwardsville here in this tournament. 5 runs yesterday in the first. He made that stand up for a 7-3 win. 3 runs in the first in this one, in the title game. Just missed on the outside edge. 2 balls and a strike.
Crusader bullpen active. Number 22, the right-hander down in the pen. Aiden O'Hara getting loose just in case.
The ace of the staff, Cole Van Assen, headed to Purdue, pitched yesterday. He threw 116 pitches in a complete game victory. 3-1 to Copeland. He can pick one here. That ball goes to left as well. Doherty has to retreat, giving ground, makes an over-the-shoulder catch. Tagging from second is Schirotto, and he'll get to third.
Well, once again, you have the 1, 2, 3 of that one. A good piece of hitting, barreling that ball up, driving it about 320. And then you have the nice catch by Doherty, who drew a beat on that ball, knew he had it. And then you had the solid base running by Schirotto. Knows if that ball would have dropped, he'd have scored easily. Instead, he tags up where it puts more pressure on the catcher to block every ball.
Hendricks at the plate looking to increase the lead that he will be able to pitch with next half inning. Schirotto can get a pretty good lead at third. 2 balls and a strike to Hendrickson. Tigers would like to reclaim that 3-run lead they had after 1/2 inning of play. He went. Brother Rice fans looking for a strikeout. They'll have to wait a pitch. It's 3-2.
Randall Naughton did a good job trying to gain that strike with his frame. But Bill Orrs, he's too smart for that. He's seen a few 100,000 pitches in his life.
3-2 to Hendrickson. He's going to get a ring up there. Hendrickson knew he missed an opportunity. Callahan pitches out of it. The leadoff double stands at third. No runs in the inning, 1 hit. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Brother Rice trying to fight back from a 4-2 deficit.
Let's do it.
High school sports fans, relive your favorite moments. Just click the shopping cart below the video player to get your digital copy today.
You're watching live coverage of the IHSA Baseball Championships on the NFHS Network. NFHSnetwork.com/IHSA is your destination for the most comprehensive coverage of Illinois high school playoff action. Today's game is available for download. Just click the digital copy button under the event video player to download a digital copy of the event right to your computer. Ty Callahan did what he had to do. Keep his team right there. Kept Edwardsville off the board. It'll be 9-1-2 here for the Crusaders to face Andrew Hendrickson. Sean Sullivan doubled and scored in the 3rd, then Bryce Nevels and Jackson Natanic.
Yeah, Sullivan did his job in that leadoff spot in that 2nd inning by getting on base, setting the table. Or that was the 3rd inning, excuse me. So you got that 9-hitter with the middle of the beginning of the lineup coming up. You are definitely in business. Either the Crusaders or Brother Rice.
That is no fluke as Sullivan, .319 batting average coming in on the season. Edwardsville, the defending Class 4A state champions. Do they become the 3rd school to repeat? Joliet Catholic did it in 2A earlier today. Nazareth Academy in 3A. First pitch to Sullivan. Ball 1.
Talked about Brother Rice, 3rd place finish last year. They won a state championship under George Sedlacek in 1976. Looking to turn it into a championship in 2023. Look around, a whole bunch of players at once swatting those flies or whatever those insects are floating around their heads.
And a little bit of them during the day, but now that the lights have come on and nightfall is upon us. With that 3-0 count, all of a sudden, folks running down into that Edwardsville bullpen. Strike in the inside corner. Sullivan thought he had himself a walk. Big pitch here coming up from Hendrickson. He misses on that one. It's a leadoff walk here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
You've already told us, but I will repeat to people just joining us. 4 of the 6 runs on the board tonight have scored via a walk, getting on base, or hit batsman. So you're asking for trouble, especially in a leadoff situation.
We're back to the top of the order, and Bryce Nevels looking for his first hit in these 2 games here in Joliet.
Alec Marchetto warming up in the Edwardsville bullpen for the Tigers.
Would not expect to see Sean Sullivan take many chances on the bases. Not with Nevels up. You have to dance away from an inside pitch. 5 of the last 6 pitches have been balls. Woo. One swing could have tied this game up, and Nevels let it loose.
That was an exciting swing and miss, as you will find. Oh my goodness, did he load up and let it go?
Nevels bound for Western Kentucky. 2 balls and a strike. Again, a hitter's count. He's got a lot of room if he shoots down that right field line. Nevels ropes it. And the Crusaders have something going here in the 5th.
Well, you take Nevels' ability, you compound it with the fact that he was in a hitter's count at 2-1, and you compound it that he knew he was sitting on a fastball. And you put all those things together, and they add up to a pitching change.
Will be Alex Marchetto coming in as Andrew Hendrickson will be greeted just as he crosses that foul line.
Marchetto, 6'2", 205-pound senior, 6-1 on the season, so he's been there and done that. 35 innings pitched. He struck out 27, walked 21. That's relatively high. And a 3.80 earned run average. He's coming in a high leverage game situation.
There was no hesitation from Tim Funkhauser. He had him warmed up, he was ready, and he makes the move right now. The tying run is at first base.
'24, Alec Marchetto now pitching for Edwardsville.
Lucas Krebs changes gloves. He'll trade in his infielder's glove for an outfielder's glove. He'll replace Evan Moore in left field. Andrew Hendrickson exchanges his pitcher's mitt for an infield glove. He will go to third.
Hendrickson did his job. That would be deemed a quality start. What put him behind the 8 ball in this inning was, guess what, a base on balls, followed by a bullet by Bryce Nevels of left field on a hitter's count 2-1, sitting on a fastball.
Be Jackson Natanic, Amir Gray, and Randall Naughton. You are in the heart of this Brother Rice order in the bottom of the 5th of the 4A championship game. Nobody out.
Now batting for Brother Rice, Jackson Natanic.
Marchetto pitched in the semis last year against Brother Rice. Gave up a couple of hits, a run. He walked 4, struck out 1. He faces him here in the title game in 2023. Jackson Natanic at the plate. Slider for a strike. Outfield fairly shallow for Natanic. Very quickly, Marquetto gets on top.
Back-to-back biting breaking balls. Both found the zone.
Long look in for Marquetto. Sullivan at second. Neville's at first. Nearly got that pitch by him.
Neville's the trail runner at first. First baseman Ifrig behind him. He's leading off, not with a shovel step, but with a straight sprint position to second base. He knows there's not a pickoff situation to him because you can see the first baseman Ifrig right behind him. So he's ready to be in a sprint position towards second.
All he needs is the blocks out there. Hubner sliding for the block. I don't know that I have seen that before.
Yeah, I think it's really a smart move because you turn your right head. I mean, you know, your peripheral vision, you see the first baseman right there.
You've got your first base coach right behind, giving you a hand as well. Botanic looking to put the ball in play. Alex Marquetto on the hill. 1-2 count to Natanic. Do it again at 1-2.
He didn't give him much on that swing. He got his money's worth.
Boy, we've seen some really battling at bats tonight. Natanic has come up off that knob a couple inches. He'll stay alive. Marquetto challenges him. Natanic answers it.
Natanic right now in swing mode. Marquetto ahead of the count, 1-2. He certainly, I never use the word waste pitch. That's a bad usage of the opportunity you have to make a pitch right here that's quality, but be out of the zone and let the hitter in swing mode get himself out rather than challenging him right here.
Senior Marquetto, sophomore Natanic. The 1-2, runner's going. Throw to third, into left field. Scoring will be Sullivan. Pulling into third is Nevels. It's a 4-3 game with one out.
Tell you what, Sean McBride saw something with Marquetto that he was able to pick up on. He put his runners in motion. That was not a runner's count. The throw goes on the left field line. They get one in, they get another one over.
Tying run at third. Amir Gray at the plate. The infield is tight. Hubner has to go down and get it. Good speed at third. The form of Bryce Nevels. Gray, a chopper up the middle. No play at home, the game is tied. The out at first. And the collision between Gray and Riley Ifrig, and Ifrig is down. That is a big man running into Riley Ifrig. But we are tied at 4.
Ifrig got back up like the competitor he is, and then went back down again. Now he's back up the second time. Now he's back down the third time. I think he's okay. Just a little bit of a bell ringer. What a baseball game we have a building here, huh?
Started with the walk.
No way.
It did. And it started with Sean Sullivan. He started the third inning with a double. He scored the second run of the game for Brother Rice. He started this inning with the walk. He scored the third game of this inning. Stolen bases, error, 4-4 game. Nobody on base.
How about the line score? Edwardsville 4-5-1. Rice Crusaders 4-4-1. Two teams getting after each other.
Randall Naughton. Brother Rice has clawed back from a 3-0 deficit. They trailed Lincoln Way East 4-1 in the super sectional before coming back and walking off the Griffins. First time Naughton has faced Marquetto. Naughton a line out and a walk. Came against the starter Andrew Hendrickson. Right on the inside corner. Naughton hugs that plate. He thought it was a little closer to himself than that.
Credit Marquetto for going in there, not being bashful, but being aggressive on the inner edge.
Naughton, did he hold up? He did.
Good umpire mechanics. Bill Orris wasn't sure immediately. He checked with first base umpire Chris Avila, gives a safe sign.
Three balls, 2 strikes to Naughton. Marquetto delivers. Naughton stays alive. Walk from Sullivan, a base hit from Nevels. And during a strikeout, a double steal second and third, and a throwing error down the left field line. Scored one, set up the other one. Naughton, short hop pick. Oh my, Jennings. Oh, big time play from Caden Jennings.
Throw some leather. We got a 2-inning ball game.
2 runs in the inning. We are going to the 6th. 4-4 for the 4A title.
Within the United States Army.
Today's game is also available for all subscribers via the NFHS Network Live mobile app for Apple and Android devices. Download the app from the Apple App Store or Google Play Store today to start watching live games wherever you are. We would like to thank the NFHS Network for making it possible for us to not only work with Bill Rush, Mark Lindo, and I, Dave Bernhardt, very much appreciative of the folks allow us to be part of this event.
Absolutely, and a great event it is. Game number 16 that you and I have been privileged to call, and must say, none of them better than this one.
This is the tops right here. Brother Rice battling back from a 3-run deficit. They pick up 2 in the bottom of the 5th. As you said, we're in a 2-inning game. Lucas Hubner to lead it off. Foul ball, Naughton gives chase. It's well back into the stands. Hubner drove in 2 of the 3 runs in the first inning. He was the first batter that Ty Callahan faced to lead off the 4th, and he went down swinging. Callahan hits that outside corner. That just cut across that front corner of the plate.
Yeah, and if he makes that pitch, he will be that much more difficult to scratch on because he's been sitting dead right on fastball to him. He's got the breaker going. He will be good.
Brother Rice fans thought that was an obvious strike, but it was obvious from up here that Randall Naughton was lined up quite a ways outside. There's strike 3.
So he went slow-low for a strike, slow-low right off the edge, and then fastball, ring him up, right hand from the home plate umpire, Bill Orrs, for the first out of the inning.
Caden Jennings will come to the plate. The last time he was there, he was hitting the helmet by Callahan, though he did eventually score. And that was good enough at the time for a 4-2 lead. Callahan, the sophomore, nods the head. He likes what he sees. Took a little off it.
Caden Jennings, 4 RBIs yesterday, and one of them was a big bomb of 3-run homer. Could he go yard again?
He goes fair ball down the left field line. This will be good for 2. Tracking it down the corner, Chris Doherty. Jennings will pull up. A 1-out double here in the top of the 6th. Lucas Krebs, Grayson Rathgab, 8 and 9 in the order, will look to bring home Jennings.
We got the barrel out in front of the hitting zone, was able to stay back just long enough to keep it fair inside the line. Not a chance for the fine fielding third baseman Aiden Ovoda to make a play there.
Sean McBride, the trip to the mound. Or is that Billy Kopp out there? That's Kopp, I believe.
Can't tell even with the glasses on right. It looks like Sean McBride, to be honest with you. You mentioned Billy Kopp. Billy Kopp finished second after pitching a semifinal low hitter. Finished second with Aurora Central Catholic in 1981.
Under your direction.
Yes, and has a second place finish there. And then last year a third place finish with Brother Rice. So he's got a second, a third. I think he's thinking number 1 tonight.
He's thinking we have to get out of this inning to get a chance at it. I would bet that crossed his mind, though, over the last few weeks. Lucas Krebs, he had an RBI single in the 4th. Jennings the lead at second. Good speed there. Krebs will take strike 1.
Aiden Ovoda way back at third base. Krebs can handle a bat. Would he get a drag bunt down? If he did, he would be safe at first base with a drag hit.
Now Nahava comes in thinking that very thing.
Yeah, you look at that third base, you see him back there and say, I can handle a bat. And then make it try to feel it. And if you can bring the third baseman in, you might be able to steal behind. The wheels are turning on both coaching staffs right now.
Jennings at second base, 26 stolen bases this season. Tough pitch to handle. 2 strikes and a ball on Krebs. The 1-2 pitch. Didn't get it. Outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Still 2-2. Krebs has a pretty good hole between first and second if he goes that way.
And he tried to take a shot at it right there, tried to inside out muscle that ball through the right side. A little bit of Wee Willie Keeler. Hit them where they ain't.
That was Callahan teasing Krebs. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Krebs sitting dead red. If Callahan has any kind of confidence with base over the breaking ball, I think he'd be able to freeze him. We shall see.
The 3-2. We'll do it again. Go ahead run at second base with 1 out in the top of the 6th inning in your Class 4A state championship game.
This game's going to wear out my play-by-play guy. Every pitch is exciting.
Every pitch is, yes.
It is absolutely awesome. Let's have some fun.
inside ball 4. Runners first and second. 1 out for Grayson Rathgeb.
See, there's that breaking ball that I anticipated, and I prefaced my comment by saying if he can get it over the zone. So they went with the breaking ball, the base open. If he'd had any kind of bite in the strike zone, he got a punch out. But he could not finish and execute that pitch.
Rathgeb tonight with the runners stealing. Naughton double clutches, and they may call batter interference, and they do. Rathgeb called for interference, interfering on a throw from Naughton.
That is indeed the right call. You saw it. I saw it. And again, I'm going to give credit. Bill Orris saw it immediately. The right hand came up. It was indeed the right call.
Boy, and Bill Orris made that call immediately. Everybody in the park knew what had happened there.
Great mechanics. So what happens, pull it apart. The batter is called out. Runners go back to each respective base.
We go to the top of the order with 2 outs and Cole Funkhauser. Funkhauser with the rip. That's a base hit. Hit hard to left fielder Doherty. Being waved around is Jennings. Good speed to throw. Not in time. Edwardsville goes on top.
Boy, you just had a feeling Cole Funkhauser, coach's son, champion brother of Evan, would get the job done right there. And right before that, I wish I would have had a chance to use my analyst role, because I was going to say the Brother Rice defense was very deep, and in order to get beat, you got to make Cole Funkhauser get the ball over your head. You knew you could drive the ball in front of you, a little bit too deep, and not a chance for Chris Doherty to throw him out of home plate.
Well, and Funkhauser did not wait. He jumped right on it. Second hit of the game for Funkhauser. This is a huge one. 5-4 advantage for the defending state champions.
Funkhauser jumped on the very first pitch of the game, got a base hit, ended up scoring. At his very first pitch at this at-bat, he drives in the go-ahead run with 2 outs in the top of the 6th.
And how about Funkhauser picking up his teammate Rathgeb, who had been called out for interference. Runners first and third. This was a trip defensively.
So whatever first and third defense is called, they already called it. Whatever first and third offense is called, they've already discussed it, when it would take place, if at all.
Joe Sciarotto up. He has a pair of hits. 4 of the 7 Edwardsville hits have come from the number 1 and 2 hitters in the lineup.
Because you probably don't want to take the bat out of his hands early on in this count.
Funkhauser stays. Big cut from Sciarotto. Krebs is at third. Funkhauser at first. Keep an eye on Funkhauser. Very quickly. Callahan ahead in the count, 0-2. Tim Funkhauser flashed through his signs. 0-2 pitch. Sciarotto wouldn't buy it. Don't know that they would do anything here. I think they may just want Joe Sciarotto to swing the bat.
He's been in a good groove, laced 2 different base hits tonight.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
But that being said, the middle infield for Brother Rice, 100% playing batter. Almost like they would concede the steal right here.
It's gone from 0-2 to 3-2. Now Funkhauser will be running.
His dad says watch the fake to third and the move back to first. We used to see that every other inning. Haven't seen it for a couple years.
3-2 pitch. Ball 4. The bases are loaded. Callahan, hands on hips. They load him up for Riley Ifrig. And another trip to the mound. We will get a pitching change here. Recapping this inning, a 1-out double from Jennings. After a walk to Krebs, Grayson Rathgeb called out for interference as 2 runners were attempting to steal, but then Cole Funkhauser, the 2-out single. Shiroto, the 2-out walk. The Tigers, in a key moment of this ball game, looking to open it up a bit.
New pitcher will be Jackson Natanik, who will come in from second base to go to the bump. Take a look at his numbers. As we mentioned, just a sophomore. This will be his 14th appearance on the mound. 5-1 record on the season. 24 strikeouts to 20 base on balls on the season. 22 earned runs, a relatively high earned run average. But his job right here is to get 1 out, basically get 1 out for us. I believe number 6,
Sean Sullivan,
has come in to play second base.
Sullivan was a designated hitter, so he enters the game to play second. What a spot for Natanik. I don't know that he was down getting loose at any point in this game. Down in the bullpen.
Now pitching for Brother Rice, number 13, that's Jackson Natanik. Now playing second base for Brother Rice, number 6, Sean Sullivan.
What a moment here for Riley Ifrig. Batting with the bases loaded, 2 out, and a 1-run lead.
Basically, the game's on the line with this at bat. I mean, I know crazier things have happened, but 5-4, we go to the wire. Ifrit finds the gap, and big-time separation occurs. And look at how deep the outfield is for the Crusaders of Brother Rice, knowing just that.
Ifrig 0 for 2 tonight. The Indiana State recruit takes ball 1. Three-year starter steps back in.
3 times all conference.
Fights this one off. And Brother Rice gets out of it. Amir Gray had to make sure he had it. Ifrig slams his helmet to the ground. 1 big run for Edwardsville. They take a 5-4 lead. But Brother Rice gets out of a huge jam. The Crusaders coming to bat in the bottom of the 6th.
Teachers, coaches, and/or officials.
Edwardsville, state champions last year on this field. Brother Rice, one of the favorites last year. They ended up finishing 3rd because Edwardsville knocked them off in the semifinals. This year, the Tigers come to Joliet as favorites to repeat. Brother Rice, nobody expected them to be here, let alone playing the championship ball game. Yet the Crusaders just down a run, heading into the bottom of the 6th inning. They'll have 5, 6, 7. Triesenberg Doherty and Nojava facing Alex Marquetto.
Pretty crazy. Joliet Catholic 2A has repeated. Nazareth has repeated. Edwardsville, can they finish?
Edwardsville scoring 3 runs in the top of the first, single runs in the 4th and 6th. Brother Rice came back, able to tie it in the bottom of the 5th inning. 5-4 advantage Tigers. 2-0 on Triesenberg. Taking all the way. Triesenberg, one of the many sophomores in this championship game. He's behind that one by a lot.
Extended his hands. Instead of pulling them in through his body, slowed down his bat speed, and he was overpowered on that particular pitch.
Called strike 3 on the inside corner.
That ball had spin rate going straight down, almost 12-6 on the face of a clock. That ball vertically dropped about 6 or 8 inches right on the inner edge of the plate.
Chris Doherty to hit with 1 out. Curveball just spinning.
Didn't go down like the one he got for the call strike 3.
Count even at a ball and a strike. You know how important each pitch when this stadium goes quiet before a pitch. Marquetto delivers. Brother Rice needs base runners. They've been out hit 7-4. Marquetto paints that outside corner. Marquetto is retired each of the first 4 batters he's faced. Nearly got that one past Doherty.
Marquetto adrenaline is flowing right now.
He's ready to go. Again, Doherty was able to stay alive.
And again, that was a breaking ball that stayed up, did not break down, did not change planes whatsoever, and that's why that foul ball took place.
Two and two. Marquetto waves at it and misses. Back-to-back strikeouts to open the bottom of the 6th inning. He forced the chase.
Doherty just a little bit late. Interesting to see Iverick at first base right now. He's left-handed, so his glove is towards second base. You might want to get a little bit closer to the line and take away extra bases down the right field line, especially with 2 outs.
Well, Nojava did just that in the 2nd inning. Hit a ball down the right field line. He ran through a stop sign, was eventually thrown out at third, trying to stretch it into a triple. He drove in the first run of the game for Brother Rice. A little bit low.
Now what Ifrig's done is he's gone deeper, which creates a better angle for him to a ball on the right side, even though he stayed off the line.
Nojava will go that way, especially Marquetto keeps that velocity up. 3 strikeouts for Marquetto in the 5 batters he's faced. Two and 1 to Nojava. If they can get to him, Ryan Hartz is on deck. Now Marquetto one pitch away from striking out the side. Can Mojave keep it alive here? He will not! Alex Marquetto greeted by his teammates after striking out the side in the bottom of the sixth. 4 strikeouts out of the 6 straight retired by Marquetto, and it will be Edwardsville, a 1-run lead, batting in the top of the 7th.
Conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
Shh, we're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorite.
My kid heard that solo.
You saying I did?
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh my, how important this top of the 7th is for each of these 2 teams. Edwardsville will look to add on. Brother Rice wants a shot with 3 outs left. Copeland, Hendrickson, Hubner. Up here in the top of the 7th for Edwardsville. Won the state title in 2019 and then last year. Ground ball. Diving, no play. Leadoff single, Caleb Copeland. And now a lot of things that you can do.
Leadoff base hit puts some pressure on the corners.
It's the 8th hit of the night for the Tigers. Hendrickson at the plate. It's out of the 5th spot. Bounces in, hits him, runners first and second.
That ball hit about 56, 57 feet away. Bounced but came up and did indeed. Hendrickson, dead ball right then. And yes, you can be hit by pitch when the ball hits the dirt first. So something cooking here for Edwardsville, trying to create separation.
Get a pinch runner for Hendrickson at first.
It should be 13, Montrez West. Now running, and this time he'll be entering as a pinch runner, right?
Yep, because Hendrickson is no longer the pitcher. The door has been opened here. Lucas Hubner at the plate. They look to pick off behind. Close play at second base. Copeland's back.
Really good feed by Jackson Titanic. Normally an infielder. Set play, pickoff, bang, bang at second base.
Amir Gray at first base was in very close. Hubner swinging away. After that 2-run single in the first, Hubner struck out twice tonight.
Tim Funkhauser gave his hitter right there. Lucas Hubner, first ball, fastball. See if he takes it off now and puts a bunt on.
Pick off again. Once again, Copeland back. Lead at first to West. Copeland at second. Hubner at the plate. Who's going to let him swing there? On deck is Caden Jennings. He had the big double last inning. Eventually scored the go-ahead run. Now Gray will play behind the runner at first. Hubner swinging near the dugout, but out of play. Actually beyond the dugout. Ball and 2 strikes on Lucas Hubner.
Hubner's approach right now, 2 strikes, a little bit different. He went up there with a full swing. Right now, if anything, make contact, hit behind these runners, and get some advancement with his teammates.
He's able to check it up. The ball in the dirt. Evens up the count at 2-2. Nobody out. Top of the 7th. Catcher Lucas Hubner. Back up last year. Count 3-2. Copeland at second, West at first. Strike 3 called. Hubner will walk back to the dugout.
Hubner not excited about that call. But when it's that close, the runner's on base, you have to pull the trigger.
Jennings, he's had a great 2 days here. 3-run homer, 4 RBIs yesterday. He scored 2 runs in this game. The double down the line is last time up. Good pitch from Mechanic.
Throws him with a breaking ball, outer edge. Looking first ball, fastball, loaded up and didn't get it.
Mechanic started this ball game at second base. He's in a hold 'em situation here. 2 quick strikes on Jennings.
There's a situation where the breaking ball off speed set up the fastball. Made it look about 6 inches quicker right there. He's got him in a hole.
Brother Rice fans to their feet, the student body. Jennings, base hit right center field. Copeland being waved. They'll put the stop sign up at third. It's a 6-4 game. A double from Caden Jennings.
You talked about Caden Jennings' tournament. 4 RBIs yesterday. An RBI double right there. Make it 5 RBIs. 2 runs scored tonight. Make it 7 runs accounted for in the 2 games. And if Sean Sullivan was about 1 inch taller, he would have caught that baseball. But Sullivan goes about 6 foot, and that ball was hit about 1 inch over his head into right field.
1 out, runners second and third. The infield once again will have to play in. Tigers from Edwardsville have answered the call. A run in the 6th to break the tie. A run here in the 7th to open the lead a little. And now Lucas Krebs will look the ball, get the ball to the outfield.
Sean McBride has thought it all about the intentional walk to set up force outs and double plays so far. He's going right at this batter.
You have number 8 hitter Lucas Krebs here, number 9 Rathgeb behind him. Krebs has an RBI that came back in the 4th. Let's see how Natanic attacks Krebs here. If he goes to 3-1, he may walk him. Gets after him. Foul territory, tagging at third. And this will be out of play. Montrez West with that ball in foul territory is tagging all the way, as was the runner at second, Jennings.
Okay, let's play what if. How about that?
Okay.
What if Bryce Nevels could have caught that ball? Do you catch it? and basically concede the run?
I say at this stage you do not.
Yeah, you can't give up another run.
Nope.
Totally agree.
Fights that one off right off the knuckles.
There is not a pitch that does not have high octane intensity in this baseball game right now.
Lucas Krebs, yet another sophomore playing in his title game at the plate. He's going to go down looking. 2 outs.
Next batter for Edwardsville, the center fielder, number 17, Grayson
Jackson Natanek, a fellow sophomore on the mound, has gotten 2 strikeouts in this inning.
We've talked about it throughout the tournament. 6-4 or 8-4. Whole different ballgame with this batter.
Rathgeb, was he serious about a possible bunt there? Grayson Rathgeb, yet another sophomore.
And again, Brother Rice outfield deep. Might want to move in and make him hit it over your head to score 2 runs.
This inning started with a leadoff single. An infield single by Copeland, a hit batter. And the RBI double from Jennings. Again, showing bunt. 2-1. If he puts it down, he's looking to go right side. That side of the field. Both Sullivan and Gray are deep. Three and 1. On deck is Funkhauser. He had the go-ahead RBI last inning. Three balls and a strike. It's a full count. What a pitch this will be. Got him! Jackson Natanek gave up a run, but he strands runners at second and third, striking out the side. But a huge run for the defending state champs. Brother Rice down to its final 3 outs. They need 2 to tie, 3 to win. We go to the bottom of the 7th. This is how a championship game is supposed to look. Alex Marchetto for Edwardsville on relief. He has struck out 4 batters in his 2 innings. The Tigers, in the middle of the field. It will be 8-9-1 for Brother Rice. Ryan Hartz to be followed by Sean Sullivan. To the top of the order, and Bryce Nevels. Crusaders need a base runner. Hart's 0 for 2 tonight. First time he has faced Marchetto.
Hart squared up the ball yesterday, didn't have a whole lot of success. Looking to score one up here. I think you're taking a strike right now.
He's going to go after it. One hop in the outfield grass. Funkhauser out number one.
Interesting. They were 1-0 and decided to give him the green light in the 8th spot. 4-3 put out. Oh, so important is out number one.
So we go to Sean Sullivan. He has scored 2 of the 4 runs tonight for Brother Rice. A double and a walk for Sullivan. Third baseman Hendrickson in tight, looking for a possible bunt. Outfield fairly shallow. Line drive, dropping fast, it's down. So your tying run will come to the plate.
Sullivan's been on base 3 times. A double, a base on balls, and a base hit, which brings the tying run to the plate in the bottom of inning number 7.
Bryce Nevels. 6 home runs on a season, 12 doubles and a triple. He is the tying run. And oh, how big that run in the top half of this inning looks now.
Drop the barrel there, looking to drive the ball. He'll play at Western Kentucky next year. That's the furthest thing on his mind right now.
Nevels had a base hit, scored a run in the 5th. Sullivan short lead at first. Nevels, same swing, same result. Foul ball, 0-2 count.
Dropped his backside on both swings just a little bit. Got to stay tall on the backside. Keep the barrel over the baseball.
Alex Marchetto from the stretch. Once again, just a piece of it for Nevels.
Nevels in big time swing mode.
The 0-2 pitch. Nevels, ground ball. Knocked down by Jennings. They'll get the force at second. 2 gone.
Really good play by Jennings. A, knock the ball down. B, pick it up with his bare hand, not in the glove. C, know he has time. And then Funkhauser was able to hold base.
Batting out for Brother Rice, number 13,
Jackson Natanic. 2 gone here in the 7th. Natanic wishes he had maybe hung in there just a bit.
Nevels lead off about 2 feet, and that's probably what it should be in this situation. Although he wants to get secondary lead to be able to beat a force at second base.
They are holding him on. Natanic, 1-1. Tying run at the plate in the form of Jackson Natanic. Swinging the bat on deck is Amir Gray,
who can hit the ball a long, long way.
Natanic right through a fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 gone. The bottom of the 7th here for a title game. Edwardsville dugout ready to explode. Why not? 3 balls and 2 strikes. Nevels will be running. They continue to hold him on first. Alex Marchetto delivers. Nevels will go back. Mechanic to regroup.
Gifford might want to think about playing off the base, not holding. The runner's going anyway, and plus he's meaningless, so you can't let a ball get by you on the right side.
Once again, 3-2, 2 outs. Foul ball, come on back. Bryce Nevels, come back into the box. Jackson Natanic, get on the rubber, Alex Marchetto. We do it all over again. The pitch. Strike 3 called. Edwardsville, the Tigers go back-to-back in 4A. An outstanding game for your Class 4A championship. 3 of our 4 state champions this year repeat.
What a great baseball game it was. Why wouldn't it come down to 3-2, 2 outs in the 7th inning? 2 championship caliber baseball teams battle till the end tonight. And you see the jubilation on the field, twice as nice for the Edwardsville Tigers.
They started it off with a 3-run first inning. The game was tied until Edwardsville picked up a run in the 6th and an insurance run in the 7th. Alex Marchetto comes on, was absolutely brilliant in relief, striking out 5 in his 3 innings. And Edwardsville will have a state championship trophy and put it alongside the one they won in 1990, 1998, 2019, 2022, and here again in 2023. Wow. Well, that's going to do it for us here. The awards to be presented in just a moment. The elation on one side, the devastation on the other. But congratulations to Edwardsville, back-to-back state champs, joining Nazareth Academy in 3A, who repeated. Joliet Catholic in 2A, who repeated. Waterloo-Jabot won the 1A state title. The athletic season and the IHSA has been completed, and Edwardsville completes it with a 6-4 victory. For Bill Rush, our producer, for Mark Lindo, I'm Dave Bernhardt. Thanks for joining us for 16 games over the past 2 weekends. Final score once again in 4A, Edwardsville 6, Brother Rice 4. Stick around for the trophy presentations.
right, ladies and gentlemen, would you please now direct your attention to the field for the presentation of the first and second place team and individual awards for the 2023 4A IHSA State Baseball Tournament. Presenting the medallions and trophies are members of the Illinois High School Association Board of Directors. Here with us tonight, Tom Surgeon of Chicago de La Salle and Dwayne Bates of Glenbard East in Lombard. At this time, please meet the Crusaders of Brother Rice as they finish the 2023 season in second place, a final record of 26 wins and 16 losses. And let's now meet the Brother Rice Crusaders. The President, Mark Donahue. The Principal, Robert Alberts. The Athletic Director, Michael Fahey. The Trainer, Hugo Camacho. The Head Coach, Sean McBride. The Assistant Coach, William Koch. Another Assistant Coach, Anthony Lococo. And Assistant Coach, Tim O'Connell. And now the Brother Rice players. Number 1, Lance Moon. Number 2, Jason Pollocky. Number 4, Nolan Navarrete. Number 6, Sean Sullivan. Number 8, Jack Gilmartin. Number 9, Aiden Nohaba. Number 10, Connor Lyons. Number 11, Brendan Arnold. Number 13, Jackson Natonic. Number 14, Ryan Hartz. Number 15, Danny Durkin. Number 16, Gavin Schresenberg. Number 19, Bryce Nevels. Number 20, Matt Spell. Number 21, Randall Nowden. Number 22, Aiden O'Hara. Number 23, Amir Gray. Number 25, Danny Sheehan. Number 27, Casey Gimzik. Number 28, Cole Van Assen. Number 29, Chris Doherty. Number 30, Ty Callaghan. Number 31, Connor Stack. Number 32, Josh Sucker. Number 33, Trent Kruzik. And number 34, Danny Granis. Your second place, Brother Rice Crusaders. Meet the Tigers of Edwardsville, the state champions, finishing the 2023 season with a record of 33 wins and 9 losses. And let's meet the Tigers. The Superintendent, Dr. Patrick Shelton. The Principal, Dr. Steve Stewart. The athletic director, Alexander Fox. Trainer, Katie Hamilton. Trainer, Riley Murray. The head coach, Tim Funkhauser. Assistant coach, Craig Olau. Assistant coach, Mike Sabatino. And now let's meet the Tiger players. Number 1, Cole Funkhauser. Number 2, Lucas Krebs. Number 4, Evan Moore. Number 7, Logan Kegas. Number 8, Hunter Ball. Number 9, Austin Naylor. Number 10, Andrew Hendrickson. Number 11, Caden Jennings. Number 12, Chase Milburn. Number 13, Montrez West. Number 14, Caleb Copeland. Number 16, Sean Murphy. Number 17, Grayson Rathgeb. Number 19, Travis Engelman. Number 20, Tony Eberlin. Number 21, Jake Holder. Number 22, Riley Ifrig. Number 23, Max Waltenberger. Number 24, Alec Marchetto. Number 25, Tyler Powell. Number 26, Augustus Johns. Number 27, Joe Shiroto. Number 28, Bryce Byers. Number 29, Drew Freeze. And number 30, Lucas Hubner. Your state champion, Edwardsville Tigers. And now, ladies and gentlemen, would Brother Rice head coach Sean McBride and the Brother Rice captain step forward and receive your second place trophy. And now, ladies and gentlemen, would Coach Tim Funkhauser and the Edwardsville captain step forward and receive your state championship trophy. Congratulations. Be careful on your way home, fans. Buckle up, it's the law. When you leave Dooley Health and Care Field, remember to use your seatbelt. The IHSA and the Illinois State Police remind you to click or ticket. Seatbelts save lives. Please buckle up on your way home. The IHSA and the Illinois State Police wish to remind you that drivers who use handheld devices